Mr. Kitty Box. Let's take these first couple of minutes to settle. Feel the floor beneath you, feel the ground beneath you, supporting you. And if you're feeling any particular tightness or tension, you might have a more habitual place where that lives in your body. It might be something new to you or something more recent. So notice where you feel that pull, where you feel that tension or any kind of potentially resistance. And so give the exhalation, give the out breath full and complete. When you get to the end of exhalation and there might be a bit of a pause, is there also any corresponding release or letting go in the body? Oh, hi. So take another 3 or 4 breaths in this way. Just feeling the full and complete exhalation. And then as you just finish this last breath, go ahead and bring your feet up to stand on the floor. And then let's come over onto your side, where you're going to stack the knees. You're going to let your knees come out in front of your hips. Bend your knees, stack your stack one leg on top of the other leg, and bring your arms out in front of you, where you have one palm over the other palm. Your head, you can use the blanket or not use the blanket if you don't need it. Your head just resting heavily on the floor. You're going to reach your top hand past your bottom hand, broadening, opening, and stretching through your upper back, the back of your shoulders, and then just pull that hand back a bit up onto your forearm. And let this be really about just moving through upper back and shoulders, and your hips and your legs stay kind of more or less where they are. You might feel a little shift of your top knee against the inner lower knee. Roll back and forth like this a few times, adding a little bit more opening to come up a little further up the arm toward the shoulder into the collarbones, and then go back out the length of that arm, reaching past the hand. Right, this top hand across to its same side, shoulder, collarbone, and then come back. And just start to move more readily into the full twist. This top arm, weight of the top arm reaching back, and then roll back. Everything very heavy. Lift your head if you don't need to. Do that one more time. Might feel a little smoosh of your face. And the next time you land in the twist with your arms wide, just take a breath there, take another breath or two there. Then all the way back onto your back. If you want to hug knees to chest, take a breath where you just hug your knees into your chest. And then we'll go the other way. So just roll over onto your other side. Come up and switch sides if you need to, turn yourself around if you need to. And then again, let your head fall. And then same thing here, start small, reaching just past the bottom hand with the top hand. Roll back, kind of creeping that arm, sliding that hand up along the forearm. Good. And again, just let this be more about what's happening as you roll across the back of the shoulder blade into the deltoid along the length of the upper arm, and then a little bit wider. A few more breaths here. We're going a little more toward that full open arms wide into the upper back. Twice more, do a couple more, but fully opening the arms. Landing in the opened arms position, take a breath or two there in the twist. Return to your back. Return to the middle of your mat. Bring your feet to stand on the floor. And let's do just a little bit of cross lateral, contralateral, opposite arm and leg movement with your breath. So with your next breath in, take just your left arm overhead, your right foot up into the air, and then bring those back down as you breathe out. Same arm, same leg, left arm, right leg. One more and then switch. Right arm, left leg. Coordinating opposite arm and leg with breath. Inhale. Exhale. Good. And then bring the arms a bit away from the sides and your heels close to the backs of your hips. Take a breath in, and then on the exhale, bridge pose. Press down through the soles of your feet. Lift your hips. Roll your spine away from the floor. Hold. Breathe. And another couple of breaths. A nice engaged ease and the engaged support of your hips, your legs, your back. And your feet. Just feel how your feet press the floor. And then inhale, spine to the floor, hips to the floor, knees to your chest. Take a breath. Good. And then once more, drop your feet to the floor. Your arms come either out to the sides if you're comfortable here. Without a whole lot of use of your arms, support of arms and shoulders. You're really more all about feet, legs, hips, and low back, or I'm gonna come under you. Facilitate a little more, push through the upper arms. Feel the extension through your elbows. A little more higher lift of your chest and upper back. 3 more breaths. And then the arms can release, the shoulders can spread, spine comes back down to the floor. Extend your legs. And take a breath. Okay, and then let's bring the feet back up to stand, but bring your arms or hands behind your head. Interlace your fingers together behind your head. Let this be inhalation, maybe a little more flexion in the upper back as you push your arms down, maybe tilt your chin back just a bit, and then exhale, chin down, elbows in, pull your head and shoulders up off the floor. Lengthen down through lumbar spine to the tailbone. And then inhale, let all of that go. Opposite movement of spine, a bit like cow pose and cat pose. Exhale. Inhale to the floor, elbows press. If your elbows can meet the floor, press. Exhale, come up. Once more like that. Good. And then pause here, right? We'll continue on, but add a bit of a twist and a side bend, right? So we'll come up and go across, opposite elbow, knee. So on your next exhalation, elbows come in. Lift one knee, opposite elbow, through the full length of exhalation, squeeze, and then inhale, back to the floor. Exhale, switch. Right, looking for both the side bend and the rotation. It's 2 things happening together when you come up. Three more at your own pace. A nice slow pace of breath. And so just facilitating mobility and movement all up and down the spine. And across into the shoulders and the upper back and the chest. And downward into 2 hips, across the back of your low back, into your hips and your legs. Let's go once more to each side. This might be a bonus, but let's go once more to each side. Rotate, side bend. Nice. And then you can release your head and re-extend your legs and let your arms come out by your sides here. Pause and take a breath. Okay, and then we'll move from here upward. Okay, so roll to one side, come up onto all fours from there. Find neutral in your spine, right? So tabletop in your back. And then extend back your left ball of foot, left toes back, right fingertips forward. And you can come up and just hold the opposite arm and leg in extension. You want to breathe in and out of it. You can breathe and make it a little more dynamic. To lower the fingertips and the toes to the floor on a breath, and then you inhale and come back up. 3, 4 more breaths. Either of those modes. Where we're going 5 breaths each side. And just switch sides when you're ready to switch sides. Good. Nice and strong hold and support through the upper back. And then just breathe your spine through a few rounds of cow pose, cat pose. Mobilize again, move up and down the length of your spine. Two more breaths. Okay, and then we'll go through another round of that same opposite arm and leg. If you want to, you can just hold it again like you did. You can move in and out of it if you like, or if you want to bend the knee and reach back and try to catch your foot or your ankle, you can vary it up that way. Opposite hand to foot, and then release. So 4 or 5 breaths. Come down, find neutral again, and then from neutral, extension, lift, reach, hold here, move dynamically in and out of it, or you want to bend the knee, reach back. Soft breath, soft gaze, release when you're ready to release. All fours. Child's pose, or you could just sit back on your feet, or you could press back to child's pose. Couple more breaths. All fours. Hair issues. One hair. All fours. Curl the toes under. Lift the knees. Hover the knees here for just maybe a half a breath. Really start to feel your quads fire up and then lift. Sit bones. Drop your heels. Push into your palms, downward facing dog. Soft knees, but at the same time, you're looking for space in the backs of your knees without locking them or hyperextending them open. So can you create a little bit of tension between your sit bones and your heel bones and take your knees back without locking into your knee joints? Good. And then to come down, just bend your knees. Try not to shift your shoulders forward. Just bend your knees and lower your knees to the ground. And then you could again just sit back. Just take a breath. Just be out of upside down and out of your hands for just a moment. Take another breath. Good. So we'll come back in that same way, engaging the quads, letting the quads engage and kind of fire up before you take the knees back. You just come and lift your knees up off the floor. And then up and back, downward facing dog. And then from here, let's do what we need to do, just modification wise, to reach right hand across to the outside of left ankle. So a lot of times that means you're just closer, you're a little bit closer with your feet toward your hands, a shorter stance. Reach across, might be really more bent in your knees. If you need more length or you just need more space, you could have a block underneath this hand that's still on the floor. But give yourself a little twist, opposite hand to ankle, and a little traction in the spine to help the spine more easily rotate. Just take another couple of breaths. Good. Let that right hand go. Downward facing dog. You walk your feet back a bit again, your full stance, and then just bend the knees to come out. Drop the knees to the floor. Sit back. Take a breath. We'll come back in one more time, same way we've been coming in, engaging, letting the legs engage, using the strength of your big leg muscles to come into the pose. Lift the knees. Take a breath. Downward facing dog. Good. Adjust your stance in any way you need to. Close enough. You could reach across. Left hand outside right ankle. And then really push through the right palm. Reestablish all of that length and turn from all of that length. Another breath or two. Good. And then release that left palm, reach back into downward facing dog. Take the feet back just a bit, find your full stance again, and then bend your knees to the floor. Good. And then just come up and stand on your knees. Drop back a bit. You're gonna feel your quadriceps tighten up again as you just lengthen everything back a bit into a little slant, into a little angle yourself back. And then start at the hips, engaging through the back of the hips to bring the hips more forward and then come up the length of your spine. Find a little bit of camel pose, modified with hands to your hips. Good, let's do that one more time and just bring yourself back upright and take a breath. Pad up your knees, cushion up your knees if you need to. Lean yourself back. And then hips, moves the hips forward. Come up the length of your spine. Gaze are slightly upward. 2 more breaths. Yeah, release all the way upright. Hands to the floor. 1 foot under you. The other foot under you. Uttanasana, forward fold, but then with inhalation, next inhalation, easy peasy, roll yourself up to stand. Inhale, arms forward, heels up off the floor. Exhale, drop your heels, lower your arms. Back behind you, so up and forward through the arms, and then back and down through the arms. Switch directions, reach back, roll up onto the balls of your feet, drop the arms forward, lower your heels. 2 more. And then from the top of your mat, let's pick up the right foot. Step the right foot back, positioning that foot for warrior 1 pose. Inhale, bend the front knee, reach forward and up, overhead with your arms. Push through your left foot to extend your knee, lower your arms. Inhale, draw that heel back toward the other foot. Bend the knee, push the floor, extend the knee. Do 2 more. Hold 3 breaths. Find a comfortable extension in your spine. Sometimes that just means I lean a little bit more forward, drive my arms back, and then lower the arms, extend the front knee, and step the back foot forward. Take a breath. Come back to breath. Reestablish that baseline breath. Pick up left foot, step left foot back. Good, same thing here. In and out of the pose. Inhale, in, exhale, out. Good, come in and hold for 3. Lower the arms, extend the front knee, step the left foot forward. Tadasana, mountain pose, take a breath. Okay, let's pick up the right foot again, step back. And you can certainly play with the twist with the whole foot on the floor back there, like warrior one. You can also pivot onto the ball of the foot if that just helps you facilitate a little deeper twist, a little more twist. But certainly if you want to keep all of the sole of the foot on the floor, you can. And then from the warrior one, you could be open in the arms, you could be together with the hands and down to the outside of the knee with the elbow. You can get there and then open the arms, then pivot onto the ball of the foot. Make it your own, make it optimal for you. Position of the foot, position of the arms. Take another breath or two, revolved, crescent lunge or warrior one. Find stability to come out. And then you're in mountain pose again, top of your mat. Take a breath again. Your left foot steps back, warrior one, or all of the foot, your choice. Revolve. Couple of more breaths. And then you might hear on this side too, just be playing with switching up the position of the foot, playing with what you're doing in arms and shoulders. Falling if you fall, wobble a little if you have to wobble. And then release yourself from the twist. Push off the back foot, step the left foot forward, find mountain pose again. Find mountain pose, right? Find that baseline of breath again. Yeah, good. And then let's take a wide step from the middle of your mat, turning sideways, and then wide stance between your 2 feet. Go out with the feet. And up with the arms, up and out. And reach just as far as you can reach. Feel the tension of that pull. As if you were being gently pulled and extended. Good, and then keep all of this wide arms, soften your knees a little bit. Come into a full fold. Hands land wherever your hands want to land. If you want to bend your knees more, you can bend your knees more. If you want to adjust your feet, you can adjust your feet, but just take another breath. Good, and then turn back your right heel and turn in your right toes and turn out your left foot all the way. And then walk your hands around toward your left foot. And come up into triangle pose from here. You just slide the left hand up onto the shin. Extend that arm. Open the chest. Turn the ribs and open the chest and reach your right arm up. Another breath or two. Good, and then the right arm just comes back down. And just unwind yourself, just go back in the reverse to the middle, and then over to the right, and find triangle pose from here. Take another breath or two. Lower the left hand back toward the right hand, back toward the right foot, and then let both hands walk back to center, back over to the left. Triangle pose. Right arm comes back down. Back over to the right. Establish the feet, establish the legs, turn the ribs, reach the left arm up, lower the left arm, walk the hands back. Left foot, triangle pose. Right arm down. You're just pivoting around on the heels to move your feet from position to position, walking your hands, fingertips from one foot to the other. All right, this time, triangle pose. Stay here if you want to stay here, or just keep going back and forth from left to right. And if you want to, as soon as you come up into triangle pose, lean down, grab the floor, and then maybe you take your back leg up. Hold it if you feel like holding it, or maybe you just make that part of the little movement, the little dance. You come back, you switch the feet, and you find triangle pose. And you look down and you bend and you reach and you grab the floor, and then once or twice more to the left and the right, right? So lots of options. Lots of options. Last time to the right, wherever you are. Take your time. And then end in the middle. And where your toes are facing the long edge of your mat. And you can drop the spine, balance weight up and down the spine, and pause for a breath or two. Okay, and then if you have a block, let's do just that same little, try to move a little bit from rotation to rotation, from side to side. With the wide-legged twist, so your feet apart wide, and you have the block under your hand. Might exhale to rotate. Inhale to change. Exhale to twist. Inhale to switch. Take your time so that you just reestablish all of that stability before you leave the block. Two more each direction. Good, and when you're done, you can set your block aside, come off your block, so you're back in the fold for a breath. Good, and then you're back up to stand from there. You can step your feet back together and take a breath in mountain pose. So let's from here crawl your way into a high push-up position. Find a high push-up position. Either way, you like to do high push-up with your hips dropped or with your hips up, either way. And then press back into downward facing dog. Switch, just come back and forth, come in and out of each one a few times. Okay, and then let's bring in one knee. So as you shift forward into high push-up position, bring one knee forward. So like toward the same side, elbow or arm, and then go back downward facing dog, and then come back in, same knee across toward the other elbow or arm, downward facing dog. Same thing with your left knee toward left elbow. And back, and you could extend that leg up into the air if you wanted to add that little bit of extra, and then you come back, cross the knee toward the other elbow. Once more, each leg. Straight in toward the same side elbow. Back to down dog, and then across. And then left leg, left knee. And then across. Downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take another breath. Just bend your knees to come out. Let your knees hit the floor. Child's pose if you want to come into child's pose. To come off your hands, to come out of your shoulders, or you could just sit back in hero's pose and wave your arms around. Okay, cow face pose from here, right? So you're gonna sit in any comfortable position. So if you have lots of blocks you like to sit up on, if that's your most comfortable sitting prop, is to have a lot of height underneath your hips so you can be upright and you can find the space you need. And then we'll go left arm around the back. Hand up the back. So we're doing kind of just the arms and shoulder part of the cow face pose, and you can do the legs part if you want to and can do the legs. You can just do the bottom arm. So the hand, back of the hand comes to press, to give it a little bit of resistance into wherever it lands. Back of the hand, spread your fingers and just press into your back. And feel that all the way back down into your shoulder, your outer shoulder, behind your shoulder blade. You want to come up and just catch the fingers lightly without pulling or yanking. Your hands reach, If you don't, if they don't, then you're just holding and pressing another breath or two. Feel that little bit of resistance, just feel that comfortable end range of motion for that shoulder. And then when you drop that arm out of the pose, to move it through a comfortable circle or two in each direction. Right arm, second side or other arm. Around your back, right? So when we practice the yin variation of this pose lying down on your back, and you just slide the arm into the space of your waist, here into the curve of your lumbar spine, you can just be right there. But if you give it a little push into your back, and you're achieving what you get when you're lying on your back, and gravity is kind of pushing you into your arm, push your arm into yourself. And if you can, wrangle and work the back of the hand a little more toward the spine, just go to your comfortable end range of motion, or maybe a little backed off from the edge, the ultimate and final edge. Hold and breathe. Just breathe with the tension. One more breath here. Slide the hand down the back, right? And just give it a big wave. Good. And then bring your left arm across. Just like to take the hook of the bottom elbow under the arm that's coming across and just pull along, stretch through those muscle fibers, your deltoids and your triceps. You could also just do this with the eagle arms, but pull that arm across, elbow toward opposite shoulder. One more breath. Yeah, opposite shoulder stretch. One more breath here. Yeah. Good. And let all of that go. And then let's come off of your prop. If you're using a prop, make your way back down onto your back. Your feet to the floor. And then round through the lower back. All the way down, arms overhead, reach, hook thumbs together, pull, legs extended, arms fully extended. And then let the arms come out wide to the sides of you and then bring your feet back up to stand on the floor. Let's cross over right thigh to left thigh. Right thigh completely over the top of left thigh. Drop both knees to the right. You don't have to do, you don't have to push, you don't have to pull, you don't have to push, you don't have to apply any more effort than what's happening with the weight of your legs and gravity. If you want to, you can. Give it just another breath or two. Good. Release that. Come back onto your back and switch the cross of your legs. Drop both knees to the left. One more breath on this side and let that go. Good, and you could slide the legs apart and then come back onto your back. And then really anything that you feel like you might want now for your hips. We didn't do a whole lot of hip focused opening or working, strengthening a lot. So if you know you're prone to tight outer hip, tight back of hip, you just want to pigeon pose here, 4 or 5 breaths into each hip, or you could be more of inner thighs, the inner aspect of the hip joints if you want to, happy baby. Goes through your hips. You could lie the lower back on a block, right, and extend your legs or extend one leg at a time. If you feel like your hip flexors, you're tight in the psoas and the hip flexors, fronts of your hips. Where do you tend to hold tightness or tension in your hips? How are you oriented hip-wise? You can stay there, just kind of working and breathing into your hips. And if you would rather twist, just take a brief reclined spinal twist, 3, 4, 5 breaths each side. And a brief twist in the opposite direction. And so we'll try to get in our longer, it's like 8 to 10 minute shavasana today. Like I've been shortchanging that a little bit. We'll do the full 10-minute shavasana. So we'll finish that at 5 after. And then whoever's left, come up and sit. Do a brief seated practice before we finish. And again, if you need to leave at 7, then do what you need to do. We'll miss you. So let's go ahead, and when you're ready, go ahead and set that up in any way you want to support your shavasana. If you have to bump off at 7 o'clock, you'll get a full 5 minutes of shavasana. Stay, then get the luxury. Deeper, fuller, deeper rest. Good, so you can make your room ready, make yourself ready. Meet you back here. Nice, so just start to settle in, and then from head to toe. From head to toe. Just brush, sort of figuratively brush yourself off from head to toe. Any remaining effort, any remaining sense of holding, Unlock where you don't need to stay locked or held. The muscles of your face, cranium, jaw, throat, root of your tongue, all of that. Just feel it release from your head to your toes. Like the feeling of cool water pouring over you from head to toe. A drink of cool water, you feel it just cooling you from the inside, from top to bottom. Notice if you're still making any effort in your breath. And sense the ease that comes with this just conscious powering down. Enjoying this next level of deeper relaxation. And then if you're still here, just go ahead and lengthen, deepen your next 2 or 3 breaths. Preparing to come out of Shavasana into a seat. Arrange yourself comfortably without much fuss or preamble. Come into a comfortable seat. We'll sit. Comfortably upright in your spine. Just dropping back over and over again to that of substrate consciousness. Behind thought, behind breath. So we'll close our practice here. honor your own time, as always, your own commitment to making time for your practice. Thanks once again for your time. See you again when I see you. Namaste.